Hey, what's going on everybody? My name is Joep and today I am going to be modifying my first Nerf Blaster ever. As some of you may know, the Nerf Elite Retaliator was the first Nerf Blaster I ever owned and it is still one of my favorite blasters of all time. I actually bought a second one a long time ago, but this thing really deserves an upgrade. So I figured this would be a great time to modify my first blaster ever. The modification I'm going to do will be nothing incredibly complicated, but since I've never done anything like this before, I think it will still be really interesting to see if a newbie has what it takes to make their own custom Nerf blaster. So this is basically all the stuff I'm planning on using for this modification. We've got some paint over here, I've got some masking tape, some screwdrivers, cups to store all of the internals, and then this worker box with the Retaliator spring, and I believe it also includes some other stuff. But as the first step, I'm going to be painting the blaster, so I will have to open up the blaster, then get all of the internal systems out and then go and spray paint it. Alright, so let's just open up the blaster. Alright, so we got out our first screw. Let's just put it in this cup. Oh, this isn't going very well. I guess I'm just gonna get back to you when I'm finished. The first tip I have for you guys is get a good screwdriver, because this took way longer than I want to admit. Oh. Okay. This is interesting seeing something like this for the first time. I can also see this blaster has been used a lot because it is extremely dusty on the inside. Oh god. I'm going to have to memorize all of this because when I put everything back together, it needs to be exactly like this. With the better parts, of course. Ooh, nice. So in here there are some rings and little springs that I believe have to replace some of the parts in here. And the better spring, of course. Yeah, that's not how it works. Yeah, I can feel this one is way stiffer. That's nice, okay. Alright. I have absolutely no idea what this is. Oh, huh? I'm not going to paint the trigger because I will be using this blaster outside. So keep that in mind when painting a blaster. Also I have no clue what this is. I'm just going to get it out and then I'll have to puzzle everything back in. Oh, this is gonna be difficult. I already know it. Alright, okay. Man, this thing is disgusting on the inside. So that was the main blaster taken apart for painting. But we also have the attachment. But luckily, through the power of editing, I can do it instantaneously. So I'm ready to paint. I'm gonna spray everything red first. Then I'm gonna tape off the parts that I want to keep red. And then I'm going to give it a matte black finish. This will be the primary color of the weapon. This is exciting. I'm also definitely going to do multiple layers because the first layer won't be entirely red, of course. And by the way, I am painting this on an X-Shot box. They sent me a huge box with the brand new X-Shot crusher and it came with thousands of darts. It was so insane, really awesome box, so massive shout out to X-Shot. So as it turns out, one can of spray paint isn't nearly enough to finish a paint job. So I had to go to the store and buy 2 extra, and 3 cans was just enough to finish everything up. These smaller parts I'm going to keep red altogether, and these parts I'm going to tape up. So yeah, let's do a quick time lapse, tape it up, and then go coat it black. So this process took me about 2 hours in total, which was way longer than I initially expected. And even though it took me so long, I don't believe I've done a very good job. Some of the edges are pretty rough. I'm just hoping no black paint will come underneath, because that would kind of ruin the purpose. So the moment of truth, I'm going to peel off the tape right now and I'm hoping for a satisfying result. Those really sharp edges, but it could have also turned out horrible. Let's start off with the magazine. This is what it's meant to look like, you know, those sharp edges. I hope this is so satisfying. Oh yes, no way. What? This is really good. Oh, now I'm excited to do the rest. Oh, that's great. Really happy with the results. It's way better than I expected, and I also really enjoy the black and red color scheme. So I've put all of the attachments on the side real quick because those should be pretty easy to put back together. But I have all of these parts that need to go in this blaster so it will function again. When looking at this, it's really confusing for a beginner, so I had to watch a whole lot of tutorials to kind of get a general understanding of how the blaster works and how I should put it back together. So I'm hoping that will work. But we also have the mod kit, of course. The little spring should replace this catch spring. The main spring, of course, replaces the original spring, which should go over this plunger. This little ring should replace the ring on here. There we go. And then we also had a lubricant, which is spilling all over. This is slippery. Alright, nice. I really suggest watching a tutorial because if you have to find this out on your own, it's almost impossible. Of course, the spring should go back in here. The trigger should go here. I don't know if this is correct actually. But that goes for this whole blaster. I have no idea what I'm doing. So yay, I've made some progress. The trigger is now in place with these locks. Now we just need to put in this catch. I have to get this spring in, but it was way longer than the original spring. Before I screw it together, I of course need to check if it works. 2 hours later, second time trying it. After an hour of pure frustration, I finally did it. I fired it once without any darts in it and it seemed to work. You can immediately tell that the spring inside is way stronger. And then sliding it forward. Yes. Oh, this looks cool. Here we go. Damn. I need to put in all of the screws and then I have to do these attachments as well. So let's do a time lapse and then I'll see you guys outside for the firing test. So I wanted to do a firing test, but the blaster broke. So I had to go fix it again and it took me another hour. This has taken so long to reassemble, so I'm really hoping it functions now. Jesus. So. That thing hits hard. So the final step is painting on some minor details with this dark blue paint. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So after a lot of hours of work, I'm finally finished and I'm really happy with the results. It really has been a fun experience, you know. After being in the Nerf community for a few years now, it's really interesting to see how guns actually work on the inside, but I definitely did underestimate the amount of work it takes. Taking it apart, painting it, putting on tape, painting it again, putting it back together. then trying to fire it, then it turns out it doesn't work. Break it open again, you have to put it back together, paint on the details. Although my modification was very simple, it still was pretty difficult for me to do, especially the part where you have to put the blaster back together and hope that it functions was really frustrating when you just can't figure out how to put it back together properly. I actually have a few springs and some screws left over that I have no clue where they are meant to go. I hope this blaster doesn't break again in the future because that would be horrible. If you really want to do this, go ahead, it's really fun, but you should know what you are getting into. If you like this video and you want to see more like this in the future, make sure to subscribe down below and also leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I will see you in my next video. Peace.